ARCI Durban provides an exclusive rehab treatment for alcoholism and drug addiction. The only rehab in South Africa that offers a medical detox treatment. We offer a superior, evidence-based and medically cutting-edge approach to the treatment of addiction. If you have been frustrated by repeated failures at rehab recovery or are unaware that there are proven anti-craving medications that can significantly improve treatment outcomes, give us a confidential call to learn more about ARCA Durban's rehab program. Contact ARCA Durban on 078-2722-911 24 hours or call our office number 031-261-5515 and our Johannesburg number on 0622-770-911. Office number 011-656-0705.
The south coast of Durban is known for its pristine coastline, beautiful blue beaches, lush forests and hidden gems. It's become the holiday destination for tourists and locals. Positioned in Scottsboro is the Blue Marlin Hotel, another fantastic destination to visit. Attentive staff with smiles all round make for a guaranteed pleasurable experience. Delicacies catered from either their a la carte or lavish buffet menus are sure to tantalize and satisfy. The accommodation boasts nothing but the best for a luxurious overnight stay, and here at the Blue Marlin Hotel, you are sure to receive that experience.
Joining me today is Mr. Vivian Reddy, a giant in the business, a philanthropist, the founder of the Edison Group, a person that everyone wants to know, and an inspiration to many. Mr. Reddy, welcome.
Well, thank you very much. I think in recent times with the opening of the Radisson Hotel, the mall, and all our philanthropy projects, lots and lots of people have got to know me. And in fact, it was absolutely surprising when I see the response to the Instagram and the social media. projects. The Radisson Blue Hotel, which is now over 130 days old.
Wow.
We got an outreach of 80.2 million viewers around the world.
Wow.
The social media reach is massive. And, we just opened the Oceans Mall, which is a great mall, one of the finest malls in South Africa, a mall that's got a Checkers that looks like a mini Harrods. You've got Woolworths as anchors, you've got Fitness 24, great furniture, but the most important thing is the range of food. You've got excellent restaurants in there. You've got Tiger's Milk, you've got Black, you've got Olive and Oil, Hassa Grill, even Rockamama's and Steers, and we're creating one of the best signature restaurants. Desmond Mabuza owns it, and everyone in South Africa knows about Signature. They're voted one of the best restaurants. He's opening a 600 square meter restaurant, and the exciting aspect of the Oceans Mall is going to be the Platinum Walk, where we, for the first time in KZN, you're having all the brands like Gucci, Burberry, Dolce & Gabbana, Jimmy Choo, and you name it. It's about 14 international brands. Wow. And we are quite confident that Louis Vuitton will follow very soon. But we've created a mall with a difference. Absolutely world-class deco, and even we created a massive musalla prayer room for the Muslim guest clientele out there. And it's amazing what reaction we've had. We've just lit the tallest Christmas tree over on Sunday past week. Yes. And we had about 3,000 people come out there, and this Christmas tree is amazing. 196,000 bulbs. It's 8 floors high. It's about 18 meters high. Oh. And we just want to make something different. And this whole Oceans Mall piazza we created is going to be something special for Durban, because at the New Year countdown, we're going to be having, like how Times Square has the falling of the ball, we're going to have something different, something very South African, but we're expecting about 10,000 revelers to get together at that whole street. And we're going to close the streets and create into one massive party where people can bring in the new year. And that's what we're all about, changing the landscape of Durban, change the landscape of Mhlanga Rocks. I mean, our Radisson Blue Hotel has been absolutely phenomenal. Great occupancy rate. The presidential suites are going to be on 26 floors, the biggest in the country, the most expensive, 650 square meters with its own private pool, and it's become the wedding venue. So those two projects, the Oceans is really going extremely well, and we are very, very happy with the way it's turned out.
Well, you definitely sort of form mega structures and you transform the Mhlanga area, but I think let us go back to your younger years. I think a lot of people may know who you are, but the man behind the success. And I think I was one of the individuals who grew up in high school reading a specific article in one of the magazines. And one of the stories that stood out for me was when you were a young scout and you met a very prominent individual, Mr. Neil Armstrong. Talk to us about your upbringing.
Maybe what we need to go do is to go back before that, so your viewers will understand how did I come to meet Astronaut Neil Armstrong.
Yes, please.
I was very involved in the Boy Scouts organization, and I was selected to represent South Africa at the Boy Scouts World Jamboree in 1971. I was 16 years old. Wow. But I was the youngest of 9 children. My father was a school teacher earning about 100 rand a month, and there's no ways we could have afforded that trip. And it was a community of Greenwood Park. They had cake sales, they had jumble sales. The public actually paid for my fare to go to Japan. At that time, it was 1,700 rand, but it was a lot of money because at that time, for 500 rand, you can buy a brand new Mercedes-Benz. So the community connection, and when I went to Japan, I was elected to represent Africa at the World Youth Forum. And the guest speaker at the World Youth Forum was astronaut Neil Armstrong. And when my turn came to talk to him, and I went up to him and I didn't know what to say. I said, "Sir, can you tell me the secret of success?" He talked about his young life for the growing stages. But his parting words to me was, "Young man, if you can dream it, you can achieve it. Perseverance prevails when all else fails, and never ever give up in life." And that word stuck with me. you know, coming from the first important person, I mean, a person, an icon of that stage. 69, he went to the moon, and I became the first person in Africa to meet him in 71.
Wow.
It was an amazing motivation, and later on in my life, those words came back to assist me, because what had happened when I started working, and I worked for a big electrical company, and one year I took all my staff from Pietermaritzburg to come down to Durban for the year-end function, and after having a couple of drinks, I went to the black staff, and they were in a warehouse having inferior meat and drink, very inferior meat and drink. And I invited them to join our white colleagues, and I took some of them. And we had all the lamb chops and the good whiskey. And on that Monday morning, right away, all the white executives, they walked away, and we were left on our own, and we realized we're in trouble. Let's just finish what's there. The Monday morning, I was called into the office and fired. And I told the CEO of that company at that time, one day apartheid will be gone in South Africa, and I'll have a bigger electrical company than yours. And at that I didn't have 2 cents in my back pocket. I just said it tongue in cheek, and I thought I could very easily get a job, because I was good. I was really good at what I did. I was highly qualified in the electrical industry, but I couldn't get a job. Word had spread out, I was a trouble causer. Oh. And I looked around. I was forced to take on my own business, and I made some big mistakes. And that's something, you know, people sometimes realize if you're a good electrician, you think you can form a business. It's all about administration, and I knew zero. The first job we took on, and was a job about 56,000 Rand. I was very excited, worked night and day for about 6 weeks, and I started off this business with no money. It was 500 Rand and a borrowed bakkie. You know, that's how I started off Edison Power. And at this first job, when it was finished, my wife, Moggy at that time, we got into this broken bakkie and went to collect the money. And I could do so much. I was going to buy a new bakkie, we would go for a honeymoon. And there again, to go back to that stage at 56,000 Rand, you could buy a beautiful home for 3-bedroom home for 14,000 Rand.
Wow.
So I was going to do great things, and when I went to this company, and there was a notice on the door saying company in liquidation, contact our attorneys. So I already started off life on a bankrupt basis. The fact that here was the first job, and I was very depressed. I didn't know what to do. I was very, very shocked about the whole thing that evening when I lay down in bed. And that's when the words of Neil Armstrong came back to me. The words about, you're only as big as your dream. If you can dream it, you can achieve it. Perseverance prevails when all else fails, and never ever give up. And it inspired me. And I got up and started talking to all the people we owed money, and most importantly, started working doubly hard, tremendously hard, and within 9 months we paid everyone. And then that's how the business grew. And in the apartheid days, you know, I started off life as Reddy's Electrical after my surname, and we're not getting work. And that's when I decided to change the name to Edison Power. That's after Thomas Edison, the founder of the light bulb. And then I was getting calls from people who want to speak to Mr. Edison. and I actually masqueraded. I used to say, Mr. Edison is not here, how can I help you? And you know, people thought it was a white-owned business. We awarded contract, but when they discovered it was not white-owned, we were persecuted. They tried to bankrupt us. It was just absolutely amazing what the hatred they had for us. But I used to quote the words of Martin Luther King to my staff. Martin Luther King said that even if you are a street sweeper, you must sweep the streets so clean, like the way Beethoven played music or Michelangelo painted. Everyone going past must say you are the best street sweeper in the world. What he was saying, that you must simply be the best in whatever you do, and that's what we did. We trained staff, we did work, our work became so good that they couldn't fault it, and eventually they forgot about the color of our skin and focused on the work. And they used to bring white contractors to look at the quality of work. And that is up to today. That's how the Edison brand has been built, you know, with world-class quality. And my whole life, that's how it's that whether we do the Oceans Project, any development, we create world-class. And that's what we got to strive to do, is to be perfectionists in whatever we do. And it's very, very important. In fact, if you look at a person like Steve Jobs, you know, when he was designing the one of those Walkmans, the tiny one that you could put in the iPod, And when the prototype was brought to him, and he threw it into the fish tank, and the designers were absolutely mortified. And they asked him, Mr. Job, why did you do it? He says, look at that fish tank, there's air bubbles come out. The fact that there's still air bubbles means you can make it smaller. Go back and make sure this doesn't happen. Now, this is what life's all. You see, when you strive to be the best, when you strive to become perfect, and that is when you succeed in life. And everything we do, whether we build casinos or whatever we do, we always put in a 210% effort. And that's what life's all about today. You've got to strive to do your best. And you've got to be so good at what you do. People must come and marvel at what you do. And that's what's happening at the Oceans Mall. We got this massive gateway center. I had to do things differently. And what we did, we created world class. Everything about that mall is world class. And that is why thousands of people, or hundreds of thousands of people are saying, wow, this is the best mall in South Africa.
I'm sure you've traveled a lot, so what drew inspiration in creating the theme of the Oceans Mall?
The inspiration in creating the theme, firstly, it was quite a difficult task coming up with a proper name. We had the land and said, what do we do? And it took me weeks playing around with a name. And I eventually thought it was an obvious choice. You got the Indian Ocean that's across the road. And let's call this entire development the Oceans Development. And that was the inspiration. And then the whole design itself, we put it out to an architectural competition. And being the oceans, we came up with a curvilinear design. It is all curved. In fact, when the residential is being built, you'll see that it's an absolutely unique project. This project won 2 international awards for best design mixed-use project in the world. So it's really going to be a world-class project. Even the residential apartments that are going to be built above that are going to be absolutely second to none.
Okay, Mr. Reddy, besides being an individual in the business sector, you've also given your time to community outreach programs, namely your Sabaya Community Trust, involved in eye transplants, to the Cerebral Palsy Foundation, to many other sort of foundations you've been actively involved. Talk to us about that decision and where to from here in terms of the community.
Community spirit was instilled in me from a young age. My father was a school teacher, and he used to collect funds from the community and build schools. He built several schools. On the weekends, it was all voluntary labor. I used to, from the age of 8 or 9, my weekends was helping to pass bricks and pushing wheelbarrows and getting involved. And when I watched what my dad and my brother, late brother also did, they were very involved in the community, I just saw the joy the work that they did brought to the communities, and it became natural. From a very young age, when I was with the JC organization, I did some amazing projects. Like we created the first, we caused all the pavements to be ramped for disabled people. We brought the idea of Braille into lifts. We even led marches about saying the disabled are able, and we got very involved in a lot. I held the first race for disabled people in South Africa, here in Durban. Philanthropy has been part of my life. Even when I didn't have money, I gave time. And that's why I say people, it's not all about money. It's about your time, and you can uplift others. And we do various projects, we're the first business that has reached out to over 122 projects. We've contributed 250 million rands, and next year we're having a milestone event of and the purpose of that event is to encourage other businesses to get involved, to say, come out and let's make South Africa better together. And I'll give you an example of what happened. There was a few years ago, 7, 8 years ago, there was headlines all over South Africa where in the Lembe district, 14 schools had 0 pass rates. The whole country were calling for the head of the MEC for education. People were upset. But what I did, I went out there, I met with some educationalists, and we said, what can we do to fix this? And I ended up adopting those schools. We took on over those 14 schools. We found that the classrooms they were in needed repairs. Children were not even going home. We're going home to even use the toilets, we repaired toilets. We created a better learning environment. On the weekends, we brought students in to train them. We offered incentives to the students, and we offered bursaries, and we offered big incentives, for them. And even before the matric exams, we found that the children didn't have calculators. We went and bought thousands of calculators. We even brought in, we had motivation sessions. We brought in some of these generation stars to come and talk and motivate these children. And what is so good, from a zero pass rate, within 3.5 years, it's now 95%. And that's where we make a difference. We didn't go out there and complain. And even the thing, when we heard about the unemployment out there, that people are complaining about jobs, what I did, I went out and started building skills training center, one in Quadiguza, one in Kwamashu. And through the skills training center, we've had over 8,000 children that have gone through, especially youth that have gone through, in skills like basic electrical, plumbing, hairdressing, computer skills. Welding was a big one of it, and bricklaying, plastering. And what is so good, of all those thousands that have passed on, about 80% have been employed. And I was quite heartened recently. I was at the Gateway Shopping Center, and a young gentleman, Mr. James Kumalo, came up to me, and he shook my hands. He said, "I want to thank you so much." And I said, "What do I have to thank you for?" He said, "I was one of the students that came through your training center at Quadiguza, and I qualified in welding and I went out and bought a welding machine, and now I own 40 welding machines. I employ 80 people."
Wow.
Now that
amazing.
really made me feel good, how we're able to empower, and we believe that there's thousands of stories like that of people that have been through our training center. So if we as business, we've got to train people with skills, and that's how we're going to help with the massive unemployment crisis. And we do child welfare is a major project of ours. We've supported child welfare. We even saved Lifeline. I mean, Lifeline is an organization where children, it's called Childline, where children phone in, and lots of them suicidal, and they get counseling. And we believe we've saved hundreds of lives because we've supported the organization to millions of rands. Even up to date, we support them. Child Welfare South Africa was about the brink of closing down, and we made major contributions to save that organization. I mean, one of our, we believe that the GBV is a scourge of our society, and especially here in South Africa. And that is why we very recently announced a 10 million rand donation to support 9 projects involved in gender-based violence, because we believe that the government talks about it, they don't act. And we are encouraging other businesses to get involved. The Sarah Home for Child Abused Women is one of the projects we supported previously, and will be continuing to support them. And and I must pay tribute to community workers, especially in Phoenix and Chatsworth. There are great communities out there that get involved. Like, I believe there is no organization that comes close to the work that Sham Maraj and the Phoenix Child Welfare Organization. They're just not a child welfare organization. They get involved in everything in the community. Even was the unrest, they were involved there. They get involved in the floods. They're an amazing organization. And I spoke at that function last week where they were talking about the achievements to date. And I was sat there and I was absolutely warmed by the great work they've done. And there are lots of organizations. I believe if you look as a community, as an Indian community, you look at organizations like the Divine Life Society of South Africa. I mean, they've built hundreds of schools. They built education. They've been involved in the black community over the years. And since their founder was involved. And there's a great work done by lots of Indian community trusts, whether it be the Amal Sultan School, which was donated. You go around and you'll find names of family all over the place. But I believe as a community, we do a lot for social upliftment.
Okay, thank you for that, Mr. Reddy. But I think, getting to know you a bit more, I mean, how many people actually know you as an individual? I mean, your likes and your dislikes. What would you say are the things that makes you happy? What are your hobbies? A little bit about your personal life.
And let me tell you, to me, family is number one.
Yes.
And my happiest moments are spent with my family. Not only my immediate family, my broader family, and I've got 2 families. And we spend a lot of time game. I mean, like right now it's a World Cup. My son and I, we have a great time, taking bets at every match and watching the matches late. His exams are now over. And Suresh and I are going to one of the two of the semi-finals. We leave next week. But what is absolutely critical, that irrespective of the wealth you could have, if you do not have a good family life, you're actually very poor. Because wealth is all about all-round relationships. It's the way you treat your mates, the way you treat your family. And, you know, I've got family. My ex-wife, Mogi, is a wonderful lady. And we've got 3 children, and Suresh and I have 2 children, so I've got 5 children, and we've got 6 grandchildren. Wow. My youngest son, Kobe, has just become a father. But as a family, we're just absolutely great. I mean, Suresh is a great wife. She gets on very well with Mogi, and we enjoy time together as family. In fact, nothing makes me more happy than having these regular family get-togethers with every one of us. And with my grandchildren, it's a big family. In fact, while I'm talking, I'm just trying to count in my mind. I think our family's about 25 of us, you know. All of us, we get together, and then we really have wonderful times. And you see, if you do not take care of your family, and if you don't have great relationship, because one of the things about life, you could be in business, and we lead very stressful lives. And when you want to come home, you want to come home to love, warmth. And that is where Suresh is so good. She's one of the most amazing, warm individuals anyone could find. Her acts of kindness is absolutely amazing. And people love her. I mean, we were launching this Christmas tree lighting on Sunday. And you should be amazed how people come up to her. They adore her. And we as a couple, I mean, we will talk to anyone. We will shake hands. We will take photographs, selfies with anyone. Because I believe that people out there, when they look at us as role models, they want to be able to reach out to us. It is so important that selfie of a person with us will make a difference in that life. They're going to go out there. And what is important to Suresh and I, if our little acts of kindness helps to bring happiness to others, and that's what makes us a lot. We get great joy in our life by making others happy, and it involves our philanthropic. She's also very involved in philanthropy, and you know, she's opened a new Amstranga laser spa in the Oceans Mall, which is doing exceptionally well, and she designed it in such a way to create world class. And she's busy now with season 3 of the Real Housewives. In fact, as I talk here now, she's busy filming. Yeah. And it's going to be over. We're entering the holiday season. And when we get into our holiday seasons, we just dedicate ourselves to holidays. And we love being with family. Even our weekends. People think I am extremely busy. But my weekends are for my family. I mean, we love doing things. We run around throwing water, spray guns at home. People don't know. We play chess. With our son, we have chess competition. My kids love cheating at Scrabble. I mean, and and games like that. But we have lots of laughter. We have lots of fun, and it is when a family has great fun and enjoyment together, you stay together. And remember, life is not easy. Living together, you got to work at it. And I would advise every one of your viewers that don't take life for granted. Yeah. You got to look smart, even the way you're dressed. You know, one of the things I could never understand with people, when they are courting and when they are in a relationship, they go out of the way to be so smartly dressed. They do such amazing acts of love and kindness with their partners. But once they get married, they stop doing those things. And the idea is that you must never stop looking attractive to each other. You got to be smart. You got to be, we must always remember in life what brought us together and what attracted. That's what keeps relationships alive. That's what keeps the magic in relationships. You've got to remember the little things in life. Absolutely. And it's the little things in life that counts. And that's how, Suresh and I, this will be 19 years, we've been married, and we'll be at 19 amazing years of our life. Wow. And, with our family. So we go all out. It's not senseless going out there and doing all the charitable work and making others happy if you are not happy at your home. Mm-hmm. I had a very close relationship with former President Nelson Mandela. And in fact, I just did a posting yesterday on the anniversary of his 9th passing on. And I talked about the fact he launched my Orphans of AIDS trust. And we had a little mascot called Bepu that went into space with Mark Shuttleworth. And I talked about the fact that Mandela's kindness and generosity and his humility, which meant so much, and that's what endeared him to the world. And it's not a rocket science thing, and that's what we all got to be humble. It doesn't matter how wealthy or how famous you are. You got to be humble. You got to have humility, and people like that. And I think you'll find that in Suresh, to a great degree, she's a very humble person, and people love her for that. And that is why even on the Real Housewives, series, she always comes out as the most loved person, because people relate to her, because they don't see anything negative. They don't find a whole demeanor there is one of bringing people together, of being the unifier, and showing love and not getting angry. And that's a real life. That's how she is. Because someone once asked me, and I said, Sarisha puts on such a big act, it's like acting. And I said, no, it's real. Reality TV is real. That is how she's in real life. So I'm blessed to have a wonderful wife and great family.
I think one of the most famous quotes that sticks out for me, having a chat with you, is Mahatma Gandhi saying, be the change you want to see in the world. Now, given the position that you are in now, your legacy, once you leave this world, not now, obviously later on, what kind of legacy do you want to leave behind, and what do you want to be remembered for?
Well, I hope it's going to be a very, very long time, but I still got a lot of work to do. I don't think I've achieved my philanthropic life has just started. I believe we could do much more. The legacy I want to be leave behind as a person who used his wealth to uplift others. And that's the legacy. That's why we got buildings all over the place. We've got, whether it be old age homes. So everyone must say, here is someone that actually spent his life in uplifting others and making a difference in the world. And that's what I want to leave, that kind of a legacy.
You also mentioned one of the most famous quotes that made a lasting impact was Neil Armstrong quote. What quote do you live by that can pass on to the next generation?
Well, I would say my message to the next generation is the principle of CANEI. It's spelled C-A-N-E-I. C-A-N-E-I means constant and never-ending improvement. It means that if we can make every day a better day in our life, we will improve. And when you go to bed at night, look at what you've done for the day, whether it be your personal relationship, whether it be your job or your business, and think on how you could have improved it. If we consistently and never-endingly improve our lives daily, we'll become successful in life without even knowing it. It's like exercising. You go to the gym every day and suddenly you're looking so fit. And that's something else I would want you to please go out there, do exercise, do walking. It's amazing. Exercise cures anything. It cures most ailments. You try having a headache, you have a knee pain, go and walk it off on a treadmill, go and walk on the streets, do anything. As long as you have a healthy life, you can really have a healthy mind. It is your body that needs to be healthy. And you need to look after your body. You could have all the money in the world. If you don't have the health, you can't enjoy it. So what we eat, and it's just important. It's just watch what you eat. Do things in moderation. And it's simple things in life that will help us to live longer. And so I want to also add to that list of saying, live a healthy life to live a longer life.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for joining us, Mr. Reddy. And lastly, what is your festive message for South Africans this holiday season?
Well, we're already at the festive season.
Yeah.
I want people, as they start enjoying themselves and looking at Christmas and New Year and having celebration, is not to forget the have-nots in our society. There are a lot of poor people. There are people that are going to be starving over Christmas and the New Year and the festivity. My message to them is reach out. Get involved in projects and hand out, share food. Make sure that whatever you do, the poor, the hungry are not forgotten. Because you can only have a joyous and happy Christmas if you know you've helped others to also have their plate full on Christmas Day.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for joining us on African Essence, Mr. Reddy. Looking forward to chatting to you again.
Always a pleasure to be on African Essence, and I look forward to the next year and near full and having your entire team there when we open the Platinum Walk with some international stars, and we're just going to create history in South Africa.
We'll definitely be there. Thank you so much.
Thank
for your
you.
time, sir.
And just a final message to everyone as the new year comes in: if you can dream it, you can achieve it, and never ever give up.
Thank you, Mr. Reddy. Always an inspiration. Now let's take a closer look into the Oceans Mall as our team attended the opening. From luxury retail to high-end fashion and the best food outlets, you will have it all at the Oceans Mall, a high-end shopping experience in a safe and secure environment. The second phase of the mall is expected to open its doors in March of 2023. The project was designed by Alfic Proom Architecture and is being co-developed by businessman and founder of the Edison Group, Vivian Reddy. Oceans is a major 217,600 square meter development, and along with the mall, it also features a 200 plus room Radisson Blu hotel, along with 40 deluxe long-stay apartments and 2 penthouses. It also boasts an 800-seater state-of-the-art conferencing facility that includes 6 breakaway rooms for stylish meeting venues. This 1.3 billion rand project is worth every cent. A stunning tourist attraction indeed, the Oceans Mall is a must-see for all. It adds beauty, charm, style and fortune to the already well-established heart of the city, Umhlanga. Congratulations to Mr. Vivian Reddy and his team on bringing the best and giving your best to KZN.
He's the co-developer of Oceans Mall, whose vision together with his partner, Rob Alexander, has brought this iconic development to life. A fond and loud welcome to Mr. Vivian Reddy.
The entire development is the largest mixed-use development in South Africa and has won international awards. I want to thank you for taking the time to join us this evening. We're here to celebrate a momentous occasion. We built something world-class. We're bringing the first time in South Africa, bringing all the international brand.
I'm sure everyone has seen the beautiful product that we've created. It's timeless, it's elegant, it's classy, it's representative of oceans, sea, but also the luxury that this brand represents.
The Oceans Mall will put eThekwini on the international map as a luxurious destination for tourists, because it is going to change the skyline of our city.
We are grateful to be part of this grand occasion, which marks yet another huge milestone in our recovery in our province.
The day has finally arrived. The much anticipated Oceans Mall opens its doors for the very first time today in Umhlanga. We're here to capture the moment. I'm Jayashree Parasuraman. Oceans Mall creates more than 2,500 jobs. There are 120 stores, which include Checkers and Woolworths as their anchor tenants, with 14 new exciting restaurants boasting Michelin quality. Tourists and locals can expect world-class offerings with international and national fashion brands, Versace and Burberry, among the international fashion houses.
Cheers! I'm at the Oceans Mall. My name is Omi Singh, President of the KwaZulu-Natal International Business Association, KIBA. Vivian had his dream, and I think his dream has come through. I had my dream and I went to Parliament. So, as a businessman, I want to say congratulations to Vivian for opening of the Oceans Mall. All the best, and I know it's going to be a success.
It's absolutely incredible that such a mall can be put up in such trying times. And often, and I mean including myself, I think that, you know, South Africa is failing us. But when you see this kind of mall put up and to this kind of infrastructure, it gives you so much of hope. If anything, well done to Vivian Reddy and his team, management team, and whoever's involved in this particular mall. I think they've done an absolutely brilliant job. And if anything, they've given lots of other business people a lot of hope.
I am really excited to be here at the grand opening of the Oceans Mall. This is absolutely world class, and you know, I just look at the quality of the work here, and it's absolutely amazing. And I don't think we can expect anything less from Mr. Vivian Reddy, because anything he does, he ensures that it is absolutely, absolutely incredible. So, you know, my relationship with him goes back many, many years, and I am honestly super proud of Vivian Reddy. And I always take him as my mentor because I learn a lot from him, I follow him, and I believe that it just creates a whole lot of beautiful things for our country and for the people of South Africa. So congratulations to Vivian and his team, and I'm sure that he will have many, many more world-class buildings and shopping malls to present to our people. Thank you.
This is such a wonderful experience today for the opening of the Oceans Mall, because I am having my beautiful new store located here, and it's going to be an amazing experience to accept and receive a whole new culture of new people that's going to be introduced to my store. And I think this whole setup of this international presence that's going to be so good for KZN. I've got an upmarket men's and ladies boutique. We specialize in all the international brands with the likes of Just Cavalli, and we have a whole new studio of consulting and image portfolio analysis for our clients.
The launch of the Oceans Mall is a major victory for Durban real estate. We are likely to see a lot of job creation, but also a fair amount of activity in Umhlanga and moving north. The trend has been like this for the last 20 years, and so this is part of all of the wealth build-up in the region. I'd like to congratulate Oceans and the team that put together the mall as well as the Radisson Hotel.
There we have it. The Oceans Mall has officially opened. Happy shopping, everyone.
here, the premium brand from Dubai, Afnan, now available in South Africa, only via the sole stockists, UAE Fine Fragrances. Contact them on 076 546 9613 or 079 501 8629 to place your order. Visit their online store www.uaefinefragrances.co.za for the fragrance that enters before you. Get it all at UAE Fine Fragrances. Let your scent introduce you.